Europe is also dragging its feet when it comes to providing additional aid to Ukraine. EU leaders are planning to hold a special summit on February the 1st to discuss a new aid package. It was postponed because of the opposition from Viktor Orban, Hungary's president. Now, bearing in mind exactly that earlier the money has not been paid and there needs to be unanimity amongst EU countries, I spoke to Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, to find out how she's determined for the EU to reach a solution, even if it's not unanimous.
There's the strong determination of all heads of state and government to support Ukraine for as long as it takes. And we have solutions. I want a solution by 27 member states. That's the whole of the European Union. But if this does not work out, we have alternative operational solutions. Not as easy, not as elegant, but there are solutions.
So at what point will you say we can't get unanimity, we're going to have to look at these less desirable but necessary measures?
Look, the whole structure of the proposal of 50 billion euros for Ukraine for the next 4 years is ready and accepted by everybody in its structure itself. The go comes with 27 times yes. If it's only 26, that is the moment when I have to switch to the alternative solution.
Which will be when? How long are you going to give it to try and get the 27?
We have ahead of us a special European Council. And this is the place and the time where we have to take a decision.
Ukraine is struggling in a sense that they're tired. They are weary of fight. They are short, in some cases, of ammunition. And now they're getting a mixed message from the Allies.
Of course, after almost 2 years of an atrocious war that Russia has unleashed, also against the civilian population in Ukraine, they are exhausted without any question, but they are determined to prevail. And this is something we have to support with all our means. And they need hope indeed. And this is the reason why the European Union opened accession negotiations with Ukraine. So Ukraine knows that their path is towards membership in the European Union. And this is what Ukrainian people want. They want their children to grow up in a country that is member of the European Union.
If we look at the way in which the EU is now handling crises, you've come through quite a few. Of course, Ukraine, the economic crisis. What reforms do you think still need to be made to the decision-making process to make the thing more efficient?
For us, it's important, and that's what we are discussing. What do we have to improve within the European Union also to be ready for enlargement? Because you know that 9 different countries want to join the European Union. This is not only Ukraine, it's also Moldova, for example, but also 6 Western Balkan countries. They want to join the European Union. They have to do reforms within their own countries. But also the European Union has to get ready for a potential enlargement.
Is it wise to enlarge when you're already, Alex Stubb always says the problem with the union is that it has, by the time you've got consensus, you end up with a suboptimal result?
Well, we have proven in the last years, facing all these challenges, that we have optimal results. Look how we went through the pandemic. Look how we managed the attack of Russia towards Ukraine. We have Next Generation EU, the massive investment fund in the European Union. So, and there's a lesson to be learned from history, because with each enlargement round, there were, of course, these fears that this would be too much, but the opposite was the case. It was a big boost for the economy within the so-called old member states, and a huge improvement of prosperity for the new member states. So history is showing us that being bigger makes us stronger.
Let's talk about AI. The EU has got you ahead of the game on this. You're moving forward, but the big worry is still disinformation. It is the, if you like, the nefarious side of AI.
Here we have the Digital Services Act already in place that puts responsibility on the large platforms for the content they distribute. And they have a responsibility.
They don't like it.
They don't like it, but they have a responsibility for the content they are propagating. And therefore, this works well now, that they are much more conscious on taking off the platforms hate speech, for example, or other misinformation and disinformation.
What about to the point when they say, well, we're not going to bother with Europe? You know,
Well,
or we will limit our investment in Europe. Have you now created an infrastructure of regulation that is anti-tech?
The opposite is the case. The European single market and 450 million Europeans are much too attractive not to be there.
Choose your colour. Go on.
So I go for blue because it's European.
Right. Where would you like to go on this? Now, this is about society. I would suspect if we're talking about the EU, you're somewhere over here. But if you're talking about society, disinformation, everything, where are we?
Here, somehow the risk must be polarization in society, which I don't see here.
Well, then write it.
Oh
Write
my
it.
God.
That's it.
Polarization. You're giving me a task.
There we go.
Polarization.
And on how prepared we are?
And somewhere here.